Welcome, neighbors, and thanks for joining us this evening for a conversation on a really important bill, House Bill 1881, also known as the Doulas4All Act. I am Representative Kirsten Harris Talley, she, her, and I have the honor of serving the 37th Legislative District, and I'm also the prime sponsor of this legislation. But to be honest, it's not about me or any of my other colleagues in the legislature. This is about the community work over 4 years that even brought us to this moment. So I'm really excited to have two of those groups here, Surge Reproductive Justice, as well as folks from the Doulas4All Coalition, as well as Senator Nobles, who's been a huge champion for doulas and birth access work as well. So we're going to get in the mix, talk to community, talk about how we as legislators got to help with this part of the journey, and hopefully answer some questions that you may have had as you've been hearing about this amazing policy. So with that, I'm going to pass it to you, Senator Nobles.
Thank you so much, Rep. Harris Talley. Hello, everyone. I'm Senator Tawana Nobles, and so excited to be here this evening. I am the senator that represents the 28th Legislative District, which includes the city I live in, Fircrest, as well as University Place, DuPont, Steilacoom, Joint Base Lewis McChord, 3 amazing islands, and some other incredible cities. But I am so excited for this bill to make it over to the Senate side. That is why I'm here tonight, to make sure that we are drumming up the energy and preparation for the switch from the House of Origin. As you know, or may not know, in the legislature, we have all of these different deadlines. And if you don't get your bill move forward past those deadlines, it could do what we call die in the House or the Senate. You know, if your bill could be dead. And so this bill is alive and kicking, and we're so excited for the work that lies ahead. But I plan to be a Senate champion and am very excited for this conversation tonight. So thank you. And I'll hand it back over to you, Rep. Harris Talley.
Thank you so much, Senator Nobles, for all your partnership. I also want to give a shout out to Representative Entman, who's been doing a lot of work on the House side as well. And with that, I'm going to hand it to you, Jazzy, if you want to introduce Surge and then also introduce our coalition colleague who's here as well. Welcome, welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm Jazzy B. I use she, they, jazz pronouns. I'm a full spectrum doula doing birth, postpartum, sibling, sleep, and lactation support in community. And I'm a birth justice organizer for Surge Reproductive Justice. And I get to be a facilitator for the Doulas4All Coalition. I'm here with fellow doula and extraordinaire, Dashrika Moore.
Thank you.
I can tell you a little bit more about Surge. Surge is a reproductive justice organization. It is a queer, trans, Black, Indigenous, people of color-led org that advocates with community for policies using a reproductive justice framework, which means, and I'm going to use the definition from Sister Song because we're never alone in this work. It means that we believe in the human right to maintain personal bodily autonomy, have children, not have children, and parent the children we have in safe and sustainable communities. A lot like doula work, reproductive justice is holistic. It's for everyone. It is for all. I want to give Dee an opportunity to introduce himself. Go ahead, Dee. Go ahead.
So my name is Dashrika, and I've been a birth companion doula for over 15 years. I recently trained by SMC Full Circle Doula by Shafia Monroe, and I'm here today representing the Doulas4All Coalition.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. I'm so excited to dig into the conversation. So I'm going to kick it to you for first, Jazzy, to just lay the groundwork for us. What is Doulas4All? What is this bill? How did this work even get here? Give us the whole rundown. It's
so rich in history. Oh my gosh. So this bill, House Bill 1881, aka Doulas4All, this is a bill that's going to establish birth doulas as a profession in Washington through a certification pathway, which will make birth doulas eligible for Medicaid reimbursement. Okay, so people, every time I say that, they're like, but doulas, y'all are a profession. And we really are. This is a long existing profession, especially among Black folks and Indigenous folks, that community members and family members have always done this work. But in order to improve accessibility to birth doula care, we really need to establish it in the eyes of the state. But we need to make sure that we do it in a way that's equitable, something that we believe in, and something that birth doulas, especially Black and Indigenous birth doulas, enroll in so that we can actually support our community. Seeking Medicaid reimbursement as a means of addressing the Black and Indigenous perinatal health crisis within our community by advancing that accessibility to birth doula care. Black and Indigenous birthing folks and their infants have a large and persistent disparity among compared to like their white counterparts when it comes to birthing folks' outcomes, but also those infants' outcomes. And these outcomes are direct result of medical racism and that medicalization of birth. We have always related to birth as more than a medical event until so many of our births started occurring in hospitals. And so we know that birth doula care, having someone who is there the whole time, when you're pregnant, when you're in labor, when you're postpartum, that continuity of care, that person is a necessity for our community and not a luxury. It's also our right. It's our practice. And it shouldn't be limited to those who can privately pay for the care. And so that is really what it is. The Doulas4All Coalition is a Washington state coalition that is seeking to advance like holistic care that birth doulas provide. We are also a QT BIPOC independent doula centered coalition. That means that big organizations were and are continued to be invited to our coalition, but we know who we are centering. We know that this bill needs to work for independent doulas who are out here getting clients on their own, but also queer, trans, Black, and Indigenous people of color. And so we do have a history, like you said, Representative. We've been here for 4 years. We're working on 5. And in 2019, Governor Inslee actually passed a budget proviso allowing birth doulas to bill under Medicaid, and we've been working with the Department of Health and the Healthcare Authority ever since to find an equitable pathway. And that's where HB 1881, Doulas4All, comes in, that we're on phase 2 now, that we're actually just implementing what's already been started. And so we're seeking to have a voluntary state credentialing because we know how often credentialing can be used to eradicate Black and Indigenous ways of being and knowledge, and that it can become owned and standardized by the state. Right. And so we want it to be voluntary, so that folks who don't, they're like, I don't really need Medicaid reimbursement to do what I do, that they can continue to practice. They don't need to be state credentialed to be a doula. And we need it to be competency-based because the way that our folks are educated around birth, and I know that Shrika is gonna go into this, it is so much more than just a training. It is really passed down from our family lineages. For those who are lucky enough to still have that intact, doulas are the ones who are remembering these practices. And so just some white-led training is not going to be enough to really satisfy and make sure that we have an equitable process. So we're really going to make this a competency-based program. The ancestral knowledge, mentorship, apprenticeship, as well as those trainings are seen as valid professional ways of becoming a birth worker in our field. So I hope you can tell, I'm so excited.
It's amazing, Jazzy. I mean, I think everyone can see how much work has gone into this, how much intention. I know I'm a mother of 2. I know you're a mother as well, Senator Nobles, right? The birth options we already have in our state. I can have a home birth if I so choose in this state. I can have a midwife or an OBGYN practitioner, right, helping me with that birth. I can have a hospital birth if I so choose. I can have a birth center birth if I so choose. And now to also have the cultural and experience competency, right, that doulas bring, that support and advocacy for birthing people. It is the next piece we really need to make sure everyone has the birth experience they deserve. So Talk me through that, Dashrika. I think folks get confused, right? Midwives, OBGYNs, doulas. What does this look like? What is it like to be a doula? How do doulas serve the community and our families and babies?
Okay. So the importance of a doula to me hits home because I had to be a doula for myself. When I was in labor, my labor stalled, and I had to advocate for more time to open up and be able to bring my baby earthside. Due to me advocating for myself, I ended up not having to go through another C-section, which is one of the interventions used on birthing persons. As a Black birthing person, birthing comes with its fears. And statistics shown in the U.S. National Library of Medicine shows that Black birthing people are 3 to 4 times more likely to die from childbirthing complications than white birthing folks. So I'm a holder of many birthing stories because I am a doula. Some are from family members and some are from complete strangers. We want to reduce that prenatal outcomes, the disparities in those. Hopefully this bill will change the way we look at birth and how we protect birthing people's outcomes and their stories and how we protect them. We want to see the stories being passed down from the traumatic tragedy stories to now triumph stories. And that's where the doula comes in. So we know that communities who need doulas the most are queer, trans, Black, Indigenous people of color, birthing people with active addictions, birthing people who are houseless, incarcerated birthing people, and families in militaries who are stationed from their extended family. So a birth doula is defined as a person that is a non-medical birth coach. This person supports the person, is trained to provide physical, emotional, and informational support to a birthing person during pregnancy, the antepartum, labor, birth, and the postpartum period. So birth doulas advocate for and support birthing people and families to advocate for themselves by helping them to know their rights and make informed decisions. Birth doulas do not provide actual medical care. So the role of a birth doula traditionally has been a family member. And that's how I came into this work. I came into birth work by helping my mother out. And she went into labor at home. My grandmother walked me through how to count her contractions, how to grab her things to support her to make her be comfortable. And by the time we even reached the hospital and got a bed, my mother was ready to have her baby less than 5 minutes. And then afterwards, friends and family just would say, I need you there. I don't know why I need your support. I just need you there. And there's one birth that sticks out to me. It's the first one. It was a friend of mine. I remember being told I have to hold a leg, and then she looked at me just kind of exhausted. And I remember saying to her, we're going to do this together. And you know what, the next push and me holding the leg and supporting, she was able to birth that baby. And so birth doulas, they have those, if you don't have those bonds with your family culturally, that ancestral knowledge passed down to you, that's when the birth doula steps in. So the access to birth doula support is crucial to the survival of the birthing person's life. This allows the medical team to do what they need to do and the birthing person to bring in a healthy baby. And this limits the interventions like vacuum suctions, induced labor, and the most common ones, cesareans or C-sections. So all of this is what HB 1881 encompasses for the birthing person, and it ensures that our community will be given the opportunity to receive that doula support.
That is so amazing, everything you described. And I can think of so many times giving birth, right? That moment where it's like, I don't know what to do, or I can't get through. And the difference it makes to have someone with experience there rooting you in that moment. And what you described as well, right? Of the folks who are helped by this, all of those folks we know very much make up the 52% of covered births that are under Medicaid here in Washington state, right? Those are the most isolated communities, the most impoverished communities, the folks who are isolated from family and resources. So everything you're describing and who you already serve, to know this bill is just cementing that and making sure folks know that they're served that way. This is so huge. So thank you for all your work for individual families and everyone in Washington State with this. So talking through this, now that you all have done the great work that you do, brought it to us, I'm going to bring this to you, Senator Nobles. Why did you become an advocate when community came to you? Why do you see now in this moment, this is the time we need to have this policy become law?
What I love about House Bill 1881 is it's a real solution. And when I came to the legislature, I wanted to be a part of solutions, listening to community, listening to challenges that exist in our community, and using policy and funding to be a part of solutions. And so I wanted to be involved because this is literally doing that work. This is listening to communities, listening to the needs of parenting people across our state. And it was already expressed that Black moms in particular are 3 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy or childbirth related causes. But what I love about this solution is the other part of the statistic where roughly 2 to 3 or 2/3 of those maternal deaths in the US are preventable. And so if we want to do the work of preventing death and helping to have healthy births, this is a way that we can get at it. And it also is really important because, many folks may know in my day job, I run a local nonprofit and started up our doula services, where we do a lot of paying for the cost of accessing a doula, educating the community on what a doula does. And we participate in a lot of boards and commissions and groups. But I just truly believe in this work. And I believe our community members need these types of services. So to know that we can get this bill through the House and over to the Senate and have a real solution to help community members, I am enthusiastic about that process and happy to do the work. And I think it has been explained here already, all the reasons why everyone should be behind this bill and helping us to push. But I am just eager and motivated and excited for the future of the state by passing this legislation.
Well, thank you for that work and advocacy and all the places that you show up for community, Senator Nobles. I just could not agree with you more. This has been, with every advancement we've made in healthcare and childcare and reproductive justice, this has been a piece that we've always known makes a huge difference. And not only in what you talked about, it literally saves lives, but it also literally gets rid of so much time, energy, and resource that goes into surgeries and that end of birthing, the things that can be avoided, which reduces recovery time, increases time for bonding with that child, which gives them and the birthing person a really great start. And right down to it too, y'all, it saves the dollars and cents for Medicaid that would be spent on really expensive procedures. So we can proactively put those dollars towards preventive care and the things we really want to be investing in with those programs. So this is one of those things where all sides of it, we win. We win as a state as a whole, whether we give birth or not, when we support this bill. So I just really appreciate you all really sharing that with folks. Where this bill is right now is it just got moved through rules, which means we're in deliberations to vote on it on the floor in the House. And then I will be running over from that rotunda as fast as I can to hand that over to you, Senator Nobles, to work with your colleagues, because as everyone knows, nothing's law till we get 74 votes. And that takes both sides of the rotunda and every person in community. So keep showing up. Keep track of House Bill 1881, no matter where it ends up. It's in the House right now, but we're passing that baton soon. And I want folks to stay plugged in with Surge Reproductive Justice and the Doulas4All Coalition as well. These folks are making sure everyone knows what's happening and how to plug in. And those opportunities when you get to give testimony and give your voice to the importance of this bill, they'll know exactly how to do that. So thank you all so much. This has just been amazing. So from here, I just want to talk a little bit in closing. When we get this over the finish line and it's law, what's the next step? What are the departments within state government you're already working with? And how will we be implementing this law? What's the first thing that we'll need to do?
So the Doulas4All Coalition is working really closely with the Department of Health and the Healthcare Authority. And it's actually written into the bill that we will continue to work collaboratively with the folks most impacted, which our coalition already represents, to guide through the rulemaking process that competency-based doula certification pathway. We get to decide what those competencies are. As Black and Indigenous doulas, like the power of that is like really, really critical. It's crucial for having a successful program that then our doulas will get to enroll in. We can advocate for a reimbursement rate that's livable for us. And that'll be our next step, is working with the Department of Health, Healthcare Authority, and also the governor's office.
That is amazing. So you've already heard the Department of Health is a part of this. The Healthcare Authority will be checking in as legislators, to your point, Senator Nobles, to make sure the resources are going to those different departments so that those folks are ready to do the work alongside community. And so I just want you to know, I know it's important for me. I know, Senator Nobles, you and I have talked about this a lot. It's not enough for us as legislators to just pass laws and go back to other work. We have to follow this through all the way through implementation. That's why I love working with community partners like you all who understand that and have already put the vision of what makes really good implementation for our communities so they know that they have access to all these new rights and ways of being. So I'm really excited about those possibilities and what that will look like. And just thank everyone here for having that vision and seeing it all the way through. So with that, I think we're wrapped up, and we just encourage folks, reach out. I know for our office, send an email, call, make sure we hear from you about what other issues are coming up and your support for this bill. How can folks reach you, Senator Nobles?
In the same ways, please feel free to check out my Senate website or call our office, send emails. More importantly, send emails to other legislators and encourage them to support House Bill 1881. But I look forward to hearing from you all and seeing your support on this legislation.
Awesome. And then how can folks keep track of what's going on with the Doulas4All Coalition and Surge as this work develops? Where can they find y'all?
So if you would like to find out more information, you can find out about HB 1881 by emailing Doulas4All directly. You can follow our bill on leg.wa.gov or look out for updates coming from Surge's social media at Surge4RJ.
Wonderful. Any closing words, Jazzy, about how folks can stay in the mix?
I would say reach out to us directly if you have folks who are passing on this information and want to learn more. The Doulas4All Coalition is so happy to connect with you. You can reach out to me directly at jasmineB@surgenorthwest.org, and we will give you all of the things that you can disperse to your community. And always, like, be a constituent. Call your legislator, tell them what you heard today, and be in support and be in connection with the Black and Indigenous folks doing the dang thing in your community already. Okay, don't reinvent the wheel. We're rolling. Go ahead and hop on board.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Come boss us around. Tell us to pay attention to the important things and stay engaged with local groups like Surge and the Doulas4All Coalition. Hope folks have a great night. Until next time.